Colleagues, just over a week ago, news broke of the discovery at the former Kamloops Indian Residential School of the remains of 215 children. 215. It is almost unthinkable, and yet it is likely that many more Indigenous children are buried on the sites of almost 140 such schools across Canada. In that moment of grim discovery, the very idea of this nation changed forever for the non-Indigenous immigrants who have believed Canada to be overwhelmingly a caring country that embraces diversity. But as we've heard for years, and especially this last week, that idea has too rarely been the reality of the Indigenous peoples that have lived on this land for millennia, only to have it taken away, only to have their children taken away. The only way forward is to listen, to learn, to make fundamental changes, and to make space for Indigenous voices.
The Government of Canada set out on a deliberate policy to remove the children away from their parents, from their communities, and from the influences of their elders, their brothers, their sisters, in order to indoctrinate them into a different culture. And they accomplished that to a large extent. By the thousands, children were taken away and placed in those institutions called residential schools. I know this is a hard time, but we must persevere. We must persevere in our continued investigation of what we need to know about these schools. And at the same time, we need to ensure that we work hard to try to put in place healing programs and foundations that will help survivors to be able to gather from time to time in order to share their common experiences.
So thank you for taking the time to read and listen to these words from Indigenous leaders. It is clear that a first step on the path away from the atrocities of the residential school system is to bring those children home. But there are many more steps to be taken. At Royal Roads, we commit to working towards decolonization while working with Indigenous peoples, including the Koosapsan and Lekwungen First Nations, on whose traditional lands we live, work, and learn. And we will continue to learn from not only the tragic practices of Canada's past, but from the knowledge and teachings of Indigenous people. We commit to listening to, learning from, and supporting in their grief Indigenous students, staff, faculty, and associate faculty. Most profoundly, we commit to our Indigenous students in honor of those 215 children who never got a chance to finish school, who never stood a chance, and to pursue their dreams. Thank you.